When you're starting a marketing agency and you actually want to hit some form of success, 5, 10, 15, 20K a month or more, there is no better way to actually fast track that than to niche down. And in this video, I want to show you a couple of different strategies and how you can actually find some untapped niches, whether you're doing SMMA, SEO, Google pay-per-click ads, web design, or a combination of all those. This video, we're going to be breaking that down exactly how you can find an industry that is not going to have a ton of competition, but still will be viable enough for you to actually obtain clients and grow a nice profitable agency. So if you're brand new here, my name is Matt Wacek. I'm the CEO of Landscape Marketing Pros, digital marketing agency that's helped landscape contractors scale to new heights since 2017. And I make these videos because back in 2017, when I was trying to get started, I really wish that I had this information available to me. So that way I would have avoided a lot of the pitfalls, headaches, embarrassment, and stress over multiple years that it took for me to reach that first 5 or 10K month. Now, this video is not going to be me listing off 10 different niches, 5 different niches, 7, whatever it is. I have several videos like that here on my channel. Browse around my channel after you watch this video and learn about some of the other specific industries. This one's going to be giving you tactics on once you select an industry, how to see how competitive it could actually be. Now, before we jump into the first tactic for finding untapped niches, you have to understand how money flows in your prospective clients' businesses. And there's generally 2 primary ways for most home service industries and even professional services of how that works. And this could even also apply in e-commerce, depending on what they're selling. But you have what I like to call high ticket. I mean, I know that's a buzzword nowadays, but that's going to be high ticket all at once. So it's a big purchase. For the home services side of it, I'm just going to focus on that a lot for this video because the trades is an industry that I know very well. I have about 17 years experience working in the landscape industry, from working for those companies, owning my own landscape company, and now marketing for them for 7 years now. And so you see it's very similar across all trades for the most part. But this would be things like building a deck, installing windows, installing a roof, installing a fence, all these sorts of things. Bigger projects that are generally just one-off. And you're talking minimum no less than $2,500 and upwards of $10, $20, $50, $100, $200,000, depending on what it actually is and the type of clients that your client is working with. So there's that aspect. Then there's also lower ticket, but solid LTV. And so that's going to be generally maintenance focused services, lawn services, residential and commercial cleaning services, specifically on the residential side, dryer and duct vent cleaning. You have power washing, window cleaning, just those sorts of services. And there's also other industries out there as well, just like that. Some companies do both of these. Other companies only do the small stuff. And so if you're going to be focusing on an industry that is just like a small service that's $100 a time or $50 a week or $60 a week or whatever it is, something relatively cheap, you're going to have to make sure that your clients understand their LTV. And so this means you're generally going to be working with clients that are at no less than about $500K a year, because usually the smaller businesses, unless they're really long-term focused, they have maybe 1, 2, 3 people working for them. They're going to be kind of focused on today's money versus 6 months from now's money when it comes in, because they're not going to be necessarily in a position to afford to go in the red for 3 months providing a service to that business or to that client. Whereas the bigger business that knows their numbers is going to be comfortable running in the red for 3, 4, 5 months because they know after a year that that's going to be worth X amount and it's going to be very profitable for them because, again, they know their numbers. So before you decide to choose a niche and build out your branded site and everything like that, make sure you figure out how the money flows within that type of company. And if you're someone who's looking for more of a step-by-step plan on how you can actually start an agency from scratch and select a niche and start getting your first clients and start getting just the momentum running with over-the-shoulder guidance and live QA coaching, what I encourage you to do at the end of this video is go down below, hit the first link in the description, as well as the pinned comment down beneath this video, and roll in the Niche Agency Blueprint. That's my training program that I've put together with owning businesses for well over a decade now, scaling my digital marketing agency to almost $1 million in revenue over the past 2.5 or so years, and only continuing to grow from here. So again, first link in the description, pinned comment. So without further ado, let's hop into my computer and get into research strategy number 1. The first place that I'm going to go if I'm a beginner trying to start a marketing agency is a Google search. And I'm just going to find the industry that I have interest in and Google that, let's say it's just decks, garage door, whatever, marketing agency. And I want to see who the established players are. And I'm also going to be paying attention to the search volume and also the cost per click. Now this can vary depending on the time of year. For landscaping businesses in the month of May, this is not generally when they're looking for marketing. Most of the time it's going to be October to March or so. And the cost per click is going to go quite a bit higher. But you can see this search volume. This has increased dramatically over the past couple of years. I want to say 2 years ago, this was maybe 80. But with the increase in agencies nowadays, this is just to be expected. So the big thing though that I'm looking for is who has an established website that's focused in solely on the industry. It's not just WebFX or Blue Corona or any other big, huge companies like Townsquare Interactive or whatever that may just have a landing page. Because when an agency brands themselves as just specifically working with that particular industry, they're going to be very specialized. They're going to know the industry inside and out because they took all the time and effort and energy to build the website, and then the SEO aspect of it, doing backlinking and all the things that go into it to show up for this type of search. So if I'm going to this search right here, look at how many established players there are. So Thrive is I think they're like a giant agency, but then you have a niche focused player. I think this is a regular generic person, but they have a blog mentioning my company, which I thought was kind of funny. Then there's my company. Then you have another industry focused player. And then this one's generic industry focused player, Thrive again. Then you go down to page 2. Look at all the ads that are being run too. There were a bunch of ads at the top. Industry focused player, industry focused. Then you got Reddit, industry focused player. Way too much. This is insane. If I'm somebody that's a beginner, why would you want to go up against these established players, especially if we're going to be trying to do a content marketing strategy where SEO is going to be one of the things that we're going to do. I would so much rather than trying to go up against established players that have had websites for 6, 7, maybe even 9 years at this point, and just find something else. Let's switch gears to a different industry that's not as blown out as landscaping. And just one that came off the top of my head is garage doors. And so let's take a look at the search results and what we find when it comes to established players versus some of the other things here. So if you remember, landscaping had over a dozen, if not even close to 15 established players with actual branded websites focused on marketing in that type of industry as an agency. A ton of them, they're all established. And if you were to scroll down past page 2, there's probably going to be a whole bunch more. But those are just the established ones that put the ton of effort into the SEO side of it. So first one here though, garagedoormarketers.com. Next one, we have garagedoormarketing.com. So if you see here, this is the exact keyword right here, and these guys are ranking above it. And so I'm not going to go do the backlink profile and the age and all that sort of stuff for the website. If you're going to maybe jump into this industry, you want to go do that research. But these guys have obviously put time, effort, and resources into the SEO of their website so they would actually show up. First 2, established players. So then we have Reddit, which is perfectly fine. One thing I want you to notice is that there are no ads, at least not yet. If you remember back at landscaping, there were 5 ads at the very top of the search results. So next up is Townsquare Interactive with a blog post, WebFX with a blog post. These are 2 huge generalist agencies. And so then we have a Quora question. Then we have a LinkedIn post from another generalist, blog post from a generalist, blog post from a generalist, industry established players, YouTube videos. That's the same one from up here at the top. And then we come down to page 2. Looks like we have another established player or someone that's kind of in the process of doing so. Generalist, established player, generalist with a landing page, Marketing 360, another huge company generalist. And then the last one here on page 2 is, it looks like it's a garage door company with a blog from almost 5 years ago. So that's not anything to really be focused on there. So we have 1, 2, 3, looks like 4 established players out of 20. That's a whole lot less competitive than the 15 or whatever it was that we saw over at landscaping. Now, if I'm a beginner, this is pretty green light right here because we have good search volume. There's not a whole lot of established players at the time that I'm filming this, and everything else is just generalists with their blog posts. That's it. So this is a good one. So now we figured out who are the established players because they've put the effort and time and resources into the SEO side. That shows that, okay, they're serious about it. They're in this for the long haul. Now let's jump into the other strategy for finding an untapped niche. Now the next tool in our arsenal, this is one of my favorites because it can really see who's doing what in the marketplace. A lot of you may not even be aware of this tool, but this one's sweet. So it's the Facebook ad library. So you just go to Facebook ad library or Google, pull it up, it'll bring you right here. So what you want to do is go to select all ads under the category and just type in your industry. So let's just say deck marketing, and let's just kind of see what pops up. So there's actually a fair amount of people in here. And if there are a lot of different pages on here, that doesn't mean the industry is super red hot. I would probably go back and look at the Google search first. because just about anybody out there that knows how to work Facebook can go create a page, get a logo made from somewhere online, and put this together. And obviously to run ads successfully and put the spend behind it and deal with all the low quality leads, that takes a lot of effort. So what I'm looking for here specifically are ads that are running to book a call, and then also that have been in existence for a long period of time. So we're talking multiple months here. So let's take a look at some of these ones here that have a decent amount of followers. And again, followers doesn't necessarily mean anything, because you can start up a page and start running ads at $1,000 a day if you with no followers on the page at all. Obviously, with ads running at $1,000 a day, you're going to garner some likes and attention and things like that. But you can see here, it looks like they're not running any ads. So this is what you'd want to do for your industry. And so one thing I do want to stress here is that when you're searching here, you're not going to be able to find the companies, unless you know their company name, that have a different type of branded name. It's not like garage door marketing or deck builder marketing or mobile detailer marketing, something like that. You're going to have to do a little bit more searching, maybe go through YouTube, or even just go to the regular Facebook search and type in your industry specific marketing, and then you'll be able to see some of the pages that show up as well. And then you can take their page info, come over here to the ad library and type it in to see how many ads are they running. And so this is another tool in your arsenal to use to figure out how to find an untapped niche for your agency. So whether you're selling SEO, web design, pay-per-click ads, social media marketing, whatever it is with an agency that's helping a business get more leads and grow, these two strategies right here are going to be some of the best ways to figure out how saturated an industry is. And even again, if an industry is saturated, you can stand out. It's just going to be a whole lot more work. This is why I would recommend going and doing a little bit more research, spend a couple of days doing this to figure out ones that are maybe not necessarily quite as hot. So those are my two strategies for figuring out a potential untapped niche, or at least just seeing what the competition level looks like and what you're up against. And that way you can make a good decision as to whether or not you actually want to serve that industry based on how many other agencies you are up against. One thing I also want to stress is that if you're a beginner, I think the best way to do this is to find the path of least resistance, because rather than trying to stand out and have to be super creative with your marketing to stand out in one of these red hot oceans, it's a lot easier to get to 5, 10, 15K or more in monthly recurring revenue by getting into an industry that's just frankly underserved by niche focused players. So use these two strategies. Comment below what your thoughts are on the niche research. And if you're looking for a step-by-step guide on how to actually get an agency started and established and get your first clients and start scaling, how to handle fulfillment, how to sell to clients to actually bring them on board without them feeling like they're being sold to, I encourage you to go down below, enroll in the Niche Agency Blueprint. So first link in the description or the pinned comment down beneath this video. You can see all the results from students that have come through. And we also have discovery calls available. So if you read through the whole page and the FAQs and everything, and you still have questions as to whether or not it's going to be a good fit for your agency or for you just getting started, book a discovery call and we'll talk with you very, very soon. And if you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to go down below, drop a like, and also be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications so you never miss an upload from me. And once again, my name is Wacek. Thanks for checking out my channel. We'll see you in the next video.